Welcome back to Runner's Garden. Bay, 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 bay. And this one for back can also be bay. No second tone today. Bay, 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 bay. That's what we got today. Doing a little recon. Tomorrow I plan to walk from Yuanlin to Yongjin. I'll drive my car to Yuanlin, find a parking lot, walk, and take the train back to Yuanlin. The reason why I'm doing this is the Madzu Pilgrimage is going on. The first year, I walked from Dajia to Dadu. The second year, JC and I went out to Dadu by train, walked to Zhanghua, which is our city. I skipped a year, but then JC and I walked from Zhanghua to Yuanlin. The whole thing is 9 days, 8 nights. But, I only get my chances when I'm off. I'm doing it in stages. Eventually, I'm going to get to Jai. Pilgrims come back from Jai, but I'm just going to do it one way. First day, everybody is so excited. From the second day on, it seems like people are still very friendly, but they're just tired. Nobody is mean. First character, Bei means lowly or inferior, or Bei Bi, mean. Now you're taking what you learned in a previous video, Bai, and you're slashing it. It's like you don't like the bai, and putting a 10 shi underneath it. And we get this. Just saw my first pilgrims. Rarely would venture over to the area where I live, but there are a couple of hotels and motels around here. People sleep in carports, in tents, wherever, but some people really find accommodation. This is a big deal. National Geographic said this is one of the big 3 religious pilgrimages in the world. If we had the stone radical in front of Bei, it is still Bei, first tone, and it means a stone tablet or an inscription. Is this a stone tablet? Nope, just a piece of concrete. Mu Bei is a tombstone. I don't think we're going to see any tombstones because the cemeteries are more up in the mountains and we're not getting close to the mountains today on our walk. Remember what I said about slashing the white? Yeah, tombstones are often not pure white. They're kind of gray. And the fact that there's the 10, usually at a gravesite, there's more than one tombstone, right? So you can see a multitude of them, and they're stone. So hopefully that can help you remember it. This year they started on Friday nights, walked through the night, and I think a lot of them would have camped out or stayed in Zhanghua, get a little rest. A lot of them would have already headed to Yuanlin in the morning. Right now it's around 2:30 in the afternoon, but it gets all spread out, and Madzu is kind of slow. There's a really good website you should check out if you want to know anything about this. There's a lot of detail. Let me link that in the description if you want to check out more. Even though on this pilgrimage, people seem relatively happy and really kind to each other. But a lot of people, when they go to these temples, they are praying for their loved ones. There is probably an inner sorrow. Our next character is also pronounced Bei, and it means sorrowful or sadness. Bei is sorrowful, and we learned I in a previous video. Beiju is a tragedy, as in a book or movie genre. The way to remember this character is, I think of this part as ribs, and then a heart. The heart radical is below the ribs, as in your heart sinking when you're feeling sorrow. Does that make sense? The small strokes around the heart, I always think of as blood. The heart pumps blood. Changing the bottom heart radical for che or vehicle, showing status, you get bei. It means rank, generation or lifetime. In this Madzu Pilgrimage, you will see people of all generations walking. It's pretty cool. 上一辈,下一辈 means the generation above you, the generation below you. 同辈 is the same generation as you. What I'll do today is go in reverse direction so I can film some of this. One of the stops is Nanyaogong Temple, which is that way. So maybe I'll just go to Nanyaogong Temple and come back. Tomorrow morning, I'll wake up early and kind of chase the crowd. That's what they pull. This is a laundromat here. Just showed you somebody's cart, what they need on their 9-day journey. And that's one of the cool things to look at is everybody's kit, everybody's gear, carts, backpacks. Backpack is 背包, Mammoth Trion 15 for this. It's first tone 背if you're carrying something, and fourth tone 背if it means you're back, which I can't really reach. The character is comprised of, on the top, 北, which is north, and the radical for 肉 on the bottom. If it's simplified, it would be 月 for month, but if it's traditional, it's the 肉, the meat radical. I didn't realize that until recently. If you just write the month radical, just the angle of some strokes are different. Since I mentioned north, let's get it out of the way. The pilgrims will be traveling south, and then at Jai, they turn around and come back up north. North is the only compass direction which has a kind of narrow channel in the character pointing up and down. So that's how you can remember north. Just for reference, here is south, none, east, and west. Okay, back to our 北. You have to 准备. You prepare a lot of stuff when you're going on this 9-day trek. Prepare. 准备. 设备 is equipment. There is a 人 radical on the left. It's a person. People do the preparation. On the right, you have kind of like a tic-tac-toe grid, almost complete. And below that is yong, which means to use. So after you prepare things, you are using it. And equipment, you are using them. Let's talk about some more things that people use on their pilgrimage. The tents that people use. Some people taking bicycles. I better cross now. Some years are really hot. This is actually a really good year to be walking. There are loads of refreshments along the way. The tables are full of cups, 杯子, 马克杯, 玻璃杯, 茶杯. 杯 is wood plus no. Wood, no. Glass or porcelain. You just saw some people with their covers laid out on the ground. 棉被 is a quilted cover. This character can also be used to receive some kind of an action. 被迫 is to be forced to. 被告 is to be sued, the accused person, defendant. And also it's used in the passive voice as a passive marker. In grammar, passive in Chinese, 被动, the opposite of active, 主动. We'll have the clothing radical on the left, and on the right, I kind of mentioned this before, something similar to what I described as a hangman's noose, with the legs of the person being hanged at the bottom. If the defendant loses their case, you know what happens sometimes. They don't do hangings anymore, do they? Maybe some countries do. Getting close to Nanyaogong Temple. Under construction, I don't know if it's opening. My sister-in-law, who you'll see shortly in the video, says that 600,000 people attend. They stop at 60 temples, by the way. It's well more than double what I would have expected because you don't see everybody at one time when you're out on the roads. Our next character means to double. ep means twice the original amount. Again, we have a person radical on the left, one stroke coming down and then a platform, and then two strokes coming down and another platform. So one doubled is two, and then below that, even though it's only three strokes, it's basically a square. Squares have four sides. So two doubled is four. That's how you can remember it means doubled. I just saw one of the carts that can go upstairs. That one right there. It has three wheels that can go up over the overpasses. I posted like 3 videos in the past about this. You can go and check them out. Stands, they just give you stuff for free, all kinds of drinks and food. And then when you get closer to Yuanlin, it does seem to get a little bit more sparse in terms of the offerings, but it's still pretty good. You could do this whole thing and be fed the entire way. In a pinch, everywhere in Taiwan, we got the convenience stores. You saw a woman back there taping up her feet. Casualties is, you know, the blister points. 谢谢你，他给我这个咖啡，好棒，谢谢你们。Hello， 谢谢。You can see that schools would be a popular place. This is where people set up camp. Just like a race. How races are set up. When I used to do that stuff. It's one of those pop-ups. Oh, I need one of those. Oh, sure. Looks like a kid's tent. 这是你的吗？哦，好厉害。那个是 pop up， 很小，好像小朋友的。single 一个人的。哇，谢谢。对，我住彰化，我住那边，我只是来看一下。你们昨天晚上走到这？今天早上。我们是早上来的。So 你从大家开始走到这里。对，台中我们9点多开始走，因为我们从台北下。成功。哦，加油！谢谢。努力。Hello。Bye bye. These are shower stalls, I think. Interesting. I'm gonna head back and meet up with them tomorrow. It's 3:35 a.m. I'm gonna head over to my in-laws' house and pick up my sister-in-law. She's decided to go with me. I told her I'd pick her up at 4. I'm a little early. I got my beibao, coffee, got my headlamp, right by a police car. That's safe. And this is Yuanlin 火车站. That's Judy. She's my sister-in-law. You can hear that guy snoring. Oh, there's a sign. Oh, okay. We're walking with this group. 我屁股有灯了。是免费的灯。Batman。The entire way has this ghost money on the ground. We've been walking for 2 miles. My sister-in-law says this is not ghost money, it's God money. 因为为什么？上面会有一些黄色的。因为这个 gold 的关系。银色的才是要给那个。silver. 对 silver. Speaking of money, our last character for today is 贝, which means shell. 贝壳 is a shell, and in ancient times, it was used as money. 贝币 were shells used as money. The character looks like the I radical with 2 strokes coming off of it. If you turn over a shell like this, you can kind of see the lines, and that's maybe how you can remember this character. 贝 is also a surname. 贝多芬 is Beethoven. Of all the characters that I mentioned today, they were the same in simplified, except for this one. This one erases the strokes with just a long line, eliminating 1, 2, 3 of the strokes. The rest of this video is me walking with my sister-in-law with the Pilgrims in the Madzu Pilgrimage 2025. Just a short section this year. Come along. Please keep watching. They got money turtle.
而且这是从日本来的，他写日本字。
Oh. There's a kid inside there. Yongjin and we're at another temple up here. I got one of these plasters, sports cream stuff. Might be nice on my back. Don't 错路吗？没有，没有走错路。他说好几公里。没关系，我们找个早餐吃。Just tried the coffee. It's pretty good. 比较酸。嗨，太包。对，里面是素的。We're away from the Madzu Pilgrimage now, making our way to the train station towards the Bagua Plateau. We got great temperatures. 你好，要花下去吗？要买一个给爸爸吃。Looks good though. There's a mansion. 豪宅。可是厂还没有做好吧？嗯。他没做好。对。我们还有20分钟。Yongjin 火车站。That way. Oh, the elephant broke through the wall. 小心 Judy. Sorry. Oh, this is the tiniest station I've ever seen. The yo-yo cards on this.